And we're back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rollsicle. I'm the host of the channel. My name's Nathaniel, and I wanted to talk to you guys about Lego Party. So this game has gone under too many radars, and I'm intending to fix that. First of all, let's address the elephant in the room when talking about this game. There's an obvious inspiration. Now, I'll admit that I have barely played a Mario Party game, except Mario Party on the DS. Shout out to the GOAT, okay? But I mainly blame that on my parents for never having bought us a Wii. Regardless of my lack of experience, I think it is very evident that this game wears its inspirations on its sleeve. The entire gameplay loop is pretty much copy-paste as that of our friendly neighborhood red-hatted plumber, but with a Lego twist. And honestly, I find that nearly perfect. Now, maybe this is because my family never did have a Wii, okay? But one of the things that always felt off was Mario in general as an IP. But I've been a huge fan of board games my whole life, so Mario Party always seemed like a franchise that was made for me. Lego Party has been the perfect bridge of that dichotomy by using an IP that does feel close to home, Legos. Now, it also has all the exciting gameplay features and structures of the party style game without having to be Mario themed, which is nice. All of that said, I really do believe that this game does much more than add a fresh coat of paint to a beloved franchise, and it really does deserve more praise and recognition than I have seen it get. Allow me to explain myself. Okay, so let's start with that coat of paint itself, which adds more depth to the game than simply a surface coat. Lego is a beloved brand that all generations can reminisce and find some excitement in, typically. But simultaneously, it also spans tens, if not hundreds, of different themes and settings, which are way more enticing than just the all too familiar brothers, right? Now, it doesn't stop there. This branding allows for certain unique mini games, such as the reading Lego instruction mini game that this game has, and some unique gameplay elements, such as building certain sections of the map, which add depth and variety to the board state. I cannot describe this feature better than just calling it perfectly Lego. And that's a feeling that this game continually brings back up. The gameplay and really everything about this game is very simple. You earn studs, you buy gold bricks, you find them around the board, and you use strategies, luck, some power-ups, and your ultimate goal, end up with the most gold bricks. It's extremely simple, but it's extremely fun. And that makes the structure for a perfect family game, in my opinion. Now, the main game offers 4 maps and boards that you can play on. There's a pirate theme board, which you can see here, Ninjago, Space, and Carnival, and they are ranked in sort of difficulty in that order. Now, my one slightly passionate complaint that I do have about this game is I believe that 4 maps is probably a little bit slim. Don't get me wrong, I like that you can do the self-constructions to the map, and that does make them feel a little bit different and adds diversity, but I do imagine that over time, 4 maps will probably grow stale pretty fast. That being said, I do think that these 4 maps are all really wonderfully crafted. There's the pirate map, which is pretty simple to start out with, and it's honestly a very good sort of tutorial map. The Ninjago map, I will say, messed with me the least because I have no experience with Lego Ninjago, and that's a very specific brand of Legos. So if you don't have any Ninjago past, like you're probably not gonna connect with it great. It's a good map, but you're not gonna have like any history with it. But we did play with our good buddy Austin. Go check out his channel, AllWest007, and he did play a lot with Ninjagos growing up. And you could tell when we were playing with him that he really reminisced on the map and thought that it was really fun. And then, of course, following that, you have Space and Carnival. These maps really explode with creativity and detail. The Space map has a bunch of different space stations, which then can like evolve and fight the alien. It's really unique, and I don't want to spoil it beyond that. And then the Carnival actually has different sections of the Carnival that you get, like entire sections of the Carnival that you get to build, but has like the central area where you could just choose to go around it in a circle. It's really cool. It's hard to describe, and I don't want to spoil too much about it, but I really think that the disappointment I feel that there's only 4 maps is pretty well counteracted by the fact that they are a very well-made 4 maps. Now, when we talk about simplicity, I want to make sure it's not just in the gameplay design, it's in everything about this game, and it wonderfully combines it with still being extremely fun. So, what you'll notice as you're watching the gameplay in the back is that there's nothing crazy going on here. You're probably pressing one button, maybe holding a direction at most at any time. And that goes even for the mini games, which they kept really creative, really diverse, but also really simple. And I think that that is a lot of fun. Another thing that I think this game gets right compared to other party style games that I've played before is there are a lot of elements of randomness, which I do think harkens back to that love of board games that I talked about earlier. Most board games have an element of randomness in them, and that does add to the fun, in my opinion. But I have heard or I have played some party style games where stars, if it was Mario Party or whatever the premium currency is that you're trying to get, are randomly awarded, or it's really unfair who gets them and you don't really have any control over it. And I think this game does a really good balance of having some randomness, having some times where a gold brick will just fly to random spots on the map, and sometimes it happens to be right in front of your character, but other times it happens to be absolutely nowhere near your character. And it couples that with gameplay that's pretty strong that allows you to still get ahead most of the time using skill and strategy, unless you just get extremely unlucky. And I think one of those ways you're about to see right here, where we take on a brick battle, which sets up a 2v2 encounter challenge, essentially, where you're pitted into teams of two, and you are going to do a special mini game where it is a 2v2 challenge, and whichever team wins doesn't just get studs like you would normally get from a mini game. They're actually going to walk out of there with a gold brick. So the premium currency in this game is actually a little easier to come by, which makes it easier to make up for those random instances where somebody gets a gold brick. Another type of way that they can overcome this is the theft spot, or I don't know what to call it, probably stealing or theft spot, where you can actually steal studs, or if you have enough studs to pay for it, they will actually steal a gold brick from another player. So that obviously nets you a gold brick and nets them -1 gold bricks. So I think that combined with these 2v2 challenges are really fun ways that the game makes up for the randomness that it has and continues to balance things out. Other things that I wanted to mention about this game that a lot of people probably don't know, there are a ton of character options. We're not going to show it here, but the characters we're playing as are pretty much custom made. The two NPCs that are playing, or two bots that are playing, are just completely random generated characters. But there are probably multiple hundreds of characters that you can build or create or buy in this game. They really went all out with the Lego IPs and let you play pretty much everything that you've seen Lego, unless it's an IP they didn't get cleared, such as, Star Wars or something like that. But just know that your generic Lego brands and types, you're going to be able to play literally all of them and have a lot of customization when you see that. Another thing that doesn't necessarily get talked about enough is how many mini games are in this game. I want to say it's like 50 or 60 mini games, which is a really solid pool considering that, again, this is a relatively small game. We're not hearing a lot of people talk about it. It's not even a full price game. Like, you're never going to catch Mario Party costing less than the full price, $70 or $80, and then maybe it goes on sale from time to time. The retail price for this game is $40, and it is completely worth those $40. And I want to say a few weeks after release, it was on sale for $30, and that's what we got it at. So totally worth that price. And I just wanted to mention that they're not skimping out here. Like, the 4 maps is one of the few complaints that I have, but the mini games, pretty much no complaint there. All of those games are really fun. They're really simple, but really fun. And there's a good mix of them, such that the first time we played through all 4 maps, we maybe saw a repeat in mini games like 3 times. It was that much mini games, that diverse, so we could really play a diverse pool of different mini games. Another thing I wanted to mention before I get off the mic and let you guys, make your own opinions on this game, although I think you should go and buy it. I did want to mention there are other ways that you can play this game. So what you're seeing here, I think, is called Challenge Zone or Challenge Mode. It is the traditional board game style way to play this game, but you can do mini games only if you just want to have some fun and you want it to take a little bit less time. There's also a lot of customizability. So if you do play the mini games only, there's a bunch of different pre-made lists. You can also make custom lists, and you can also do random lists. When you play the challenge zone, I cut it out of the beginning of this video, but you can actually see If I were to have shown that to you, you would have been able to see that we can choose how many rounds we want it to be. We can choose whether somebody starts out with basically with extra help so that it's a little bit more fair of a game. There's a lot of ways that you can customize this game to exactly how you want it to be. And every single map, right? It's currently structured as, I think, 6, 8, 10, 12 rounds or something along those lines for the 4 maps, but you could play the most amount of rounds on the pirate map. You could play the least amount of rounds on the carnival map if you wanted to. You really can curate it to whatever you want. A great example, as you guys are seeing it here right now, is that this minigame truly has 2 buttons. You're either going left or to the right. If you don't press anything, you're in the middle, but it's a ton of fun, and it's honestly pretty difficult. You'll see me start to struggle here on this one, I'm pretty sure, because I think it went pretty crazy once we got about halfway through it. But I just wanted to say, like, all of that combined, they have nailed the party game. Yeah, see, there we go. They have nailed the party game structure, and it is really a ton of fun. We have had so much fun playing it, just the 2 of us, between me and Ashley, but also with our friends when they come over. One more gameplay style that you can have, you're not going to see it here, but there are mini games that are sort of like race or distance style mini games to see how far you can get. And they took some of the more popular ones there and just let you do it endlessly and time attack style, like set your own record, play against your ghost profiles. And I thought that was pretty cool. And that's what's in the game. There's a few more things I'm going to share, but that's the majority of it. It's simple, but it's sweet, and it's exactly what I think this game needed to be. They didn't try to be anything too fancy, and they absolutely nailed being exactly what they went for. A few things I do want to put in this video just because it would hurt me if I didn't. This is online compatible, and I'm sure it plays great. I'm sure it plays just as wonderfully as it did when we were playing it with friends. But I do want to say we have not played the online. So if it were to be glitchy or broken or something was weird about it, we wouldn't personally know, but I'm sure it works great. Everything else about this game has been great. You're actually seeing an example of the random gold bricks right now. Yeah, green got real lucky there. But anyways, so, oh, and Ashley. Oh, you might have to land on the spot. Maybe not. Yeah, I think you might have to land on it. But anyways, so back to what I was talking about. We have not played the online, but I'm sure it works great. And it's honestly really awesome that you and your friends can buy this game both, individually. You're not going to see each other. This is a great way to just feel like you're sitting around a table, feel like you're having a ton of fun. And again, it's not too crazy. It doesn't take a lot of brain power, but you're going to have so much fun when you play it. The last thing I wanted to talk about is one more thing that just wanted to let you know. The game is structured to always be 4 players. So if you don't have 4 people, you're going to have to play with bots up to that 4-player count. And if you have more than 4 people, you're not going to be able to play with more than 4 of them. So you just need to keep that in mind. But in conclusion, before we close out the video, I just want to give, my no script, just on the mic thoughts to you guys. I was so pleasantly surprised by this game. Like, I remember when I saw the trailer for this and I talked to Ashley, I was like, baby, we need to get this game. This looks like so much fun. I love the idea of Mario Party. Lego is exactly the branding that would have sold me as a kid and still sells to me as an adult. Like, this is everything I could have wanted from this style of game. And we managed to wait until it was on a good sale, mainly because we were just really busy. But once we got it, $10 off for $30, we bought it that night, played it with some friends, and it was so much fun. I have played Mario Party, like I said, shout out to the GOAT, which is Mario Party DS, but I've even played other ones on friends' Switch and whatnot, and it's never hit the way that this game did. Like, it was just so much fun, so simple, around every single corner, whether it was a mini game, whether it was the map, whether it was the announcers. That's another thing I didn't even mention in this that I should have. Shout out to the writers for the announcers in this game. They are hilarious. They are always saying something new, and they're always saying something relevant. Like, they will talk about you being in first place a bunch, or you being in first and second place a bunch. They'll talk about you changing which position you were in, and they'll probably make some kind of adult joke about that. Like, they are really creative in this game, and I think that deserves a lot more praise than it's probably going to get. So, in conclusion, thoughts are this game is really, really good. If I had to rate it out of 10, it is getting a 9 or higher, which is not something I thought I would really ever say about one of these family party games. So please, if you can afford it, I highly recommend buying this game. But even if you're not going to, if you've got a friend or a buddy that's been looking for this style of game, let them know, hey, you might not have heard of it, but Lego Party actually hits way harder than you think it would. And I learned that from Rollsicle. That would be an awesome thing for you to say. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, let us know down in the comments below. If you've played this game, you have your own opinions on it, please let us know down in the comments below. And if you know someone that has and they've shared opinions on it, let us know that in the comments down below. You guys have made Rollsicle so much more than we ever thought it would be. At time of recording, we're at 403 subscribers, so thank you guys for being so awesome. Here in a second, I think you're actually going to see like me or Ashley just kill each other in this game. No, okay, this one's the one that I just actually went to the end. But anyways, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. As I mentioned, you guys are making Rollsicle what it is today, and we just can't thank you guys for that enough. As always, we'll see you guys in whatever comes next, but until then, may those rolls be ever in your favor, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye, y'all.